Mike's yours.
I'm going to come through that screen, grip you around the neck, and tell you to hit that subscribe button.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now today I'm joined by James Mudo. Now he is an absolute brainiac. If you've got any questions to do with the human body, nutrition, this is the man to go to. So today we're going to talk about if you can get enough vitamins and minerals from your diet. There's a lot of people out there that say you can. You know, you can live sufficiently and you can be brilliantly healthy off just eating food. And we're going to have a little chat about that, see if it actually is possible to get everything you need from a balanced diet. And also water. Now, this is a big thing for me, is water. In the UK, they do subsidize a bit of fluoride in the water, and they claim for dentistry purposes to keep the UK's teeth costs down, but that fluoride has some negative effects on the human body. So James, let's start with the vitamins and minerals that you wanted to talk about, because I'm quite intrigued about that. I'm eager to hear if you can genuinely get everything that the human body needs just from eating food on stuff that's just available in the supermarket. Is that possible?
Yeah, sure. So it's a statement that I've heard quite a lot for the last 20 odd years or so, how long I've been doing nutrition work for. Can you get all the vitamins and minerals you need from a balanced diet? And my answer to that would be, yes, of course you can, but the chances are you probably won't. And what does balanced actually mean? Is it's a fairly loose and subjective phrase at best. So Ed, how many meals a day are you currently having?
Between 6 and 7.
Okay, and are you still getting a good serving of fruits and veg with every meal you're having?
Not every meal. I would say 3 meals would be veg, and probably 2 of those meals would have fruit, and probably 1 or 2 wouldn't have any.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I think most people watching are probably fully aware of trying to eat 5 portions of fruit and veg a day, which then contributes towards this holy grail of having a balanced diet. But there seems to be one thing that's extremely common in the sports world and the gym world, is that avoiding anything green. I mean, most people tend to have a little smuttering of broccoli on their plate, perhaps, but nothing really of significance, really. And I'm not sure why. I mean, it could possibly be that most people don't know how important they are, or they could be scarred from their childhood having boiled vegetables thrown at them all the time. Or from a gym perspective and training and athletes, it could be that they're more focused perhaps on proteins, carbs and fats, and don't really think about their veg that much. And Ed, I know that Alex, throughout your whole career, has been pretty militant and on top of getting your veg into your diet each day. So why do you think personally that most people seem to neglect their vegetables?
It's a good question. I mean, as a child growing up, I was very lucky. My parents were very, you eat your vegetables or you don't go to bed, you don't get dessert sort of thing. So from a very young age, I've eaten healthy. My mum was a fitness fanatic. As you say, my wife, Alex, she's been very good at sort of putting the greens and vitamins and minerals and a good balance of everything in, really. For me, I enjoy a little bit of veg on the side of a meal. I almost can't have a meal without veg. It's almost that subconscious, and it's sort of been bred into me almost. I cannot have a sit-down meal without a side of greens on. Now, probably the rest of the population aren't as lucky as me. They haven't had as stern of parents. They're not as much into the health and fitness as maybe I am or other people are. And it's easy to neglect, for tea. A lot of people just have a pizza. They'll just have chicken and rice, chicken and chips. They'll just sort of forget about the veg, really. They don't see it as an important thing. They'll probably think, I know a lot of people that sort of say an apple a day keeps the doctor away, and that's all they'll have. They'll have an apple a day, and that'll do them. But for me, I know an apple is nowhere near enough what you should be eating in terms of getting that extra nutritional value that you need from a diet.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think if I can give everyone a brief explanation, we'll talk about vitamins and minerals a little bit today, and we'll start with vitamins. So I think what most people don't realise is that plants can actually manufacture vitamins, amino acids, essential fatty acids and carbohydrates themselves, because they're all carbon compounds, but they can't make minerals. So vitamins should be a lot easier to get from your diet. They've got a whole variety of important jobs to play in the body. For instance, vitamins are required for you to convert protein, carbs and fat. So if you're training, going to the gym a lot, then they're essential, really. There's two basic categories of vitamins. So we've got water soluble, so B vitamins and vitamin C. And then we've got fat soluble, which are A, D, E, and K. Now, Ed, if I can just give just one example of how one vitamin, being deficient in one vitamin, can really affect your protein synthesis and then your muscle power and muscle size. So there's a gene called NBPF3, bit of a mouthful to say. So for the sake of argument, we'll just call it the vitamin B6 gene today.
Okay.
What that gene does, and when you analyse this gene variant at Moody's, it's basically associated with a hormone that clears vitamin B6 from the body. Now, obviously, protein is extremely important to all of us, especially athletes and especially strength athletes, people going to the gym, bodybuilders, powerlifters, strong men and women. B6 is actually required for protein synthesis and the uptake into the muscles. It's also required for an enzyme that actually draws carbohydrates and glycogen out of storage from within the cell. So both of those are extremely important. Luckily, Ed, when we genetically profiled you about 4 years, nearly 4 years ago now, you don't have this gene variant, so you don't clear B6 from your body. So again, this could be one of the reasons why you gain muscle fairly easily, because you use your protein and your carbs extremely well. So along with your MSTN and the other gene variants that you have, it's a nice little, as we mentioned before previously, genes act as a community. So you've got very beneficial genes, and this particular gene, you keep hold of your B6, your protein synthesis, and your usage of carbohydrates is extremely well. But interestingly, we've genetically profiled about 30,000 people now, and 20% of those have actually got this gene variant, so they'll actually clear B6 really quickly from the body. Now, this can be a massive issue because clearing B6, reduce protein synthesis, people won't be recovering properly, they won't be making the gains they'd hoped to be making, and a big one, they possibly lead to them getting injured, because if the protein synthesis isn't working, you're not recovering, the tissue's not repairing, you can keep breaking things. So I think this is probably a good example of how just one particular vitamin can affect your training, and then how one particular gene can affect your diet and training as well. So that's an overview of vitamins. Now, the trickier of the two to get in the diet are the minerals. Now, there are three categories. We've got major minerals such as magnesium, calcium, and potassium. We've got trace minerals such as iron, zinc, and selenium. And there's there's another version that other people probably won't be aware of, things called rare earths. So there's something, it sounds a bit Star Trek-y, called europium. Okay, so minerals are very, very hard to get in the diet, because unless they've been grown, unless they're in the soil where the vegetable's being grown, then that specific mineral or group of minerals that you'll be after, unless they're in the soil, the vegetable won't have them. So the soil isn't getting any better. Our farming soil is getting worse year on year, not normally. So the food grown today, from a mineral point of view, is horrendous compared to 20, 30, 50 years ago. So I don't know how many bowls of spinach or broccoli or whatever you need to have, which would be the same as 50 years ago, but it's not getting any better, to be fair. And I think people need to realize as well that unless your body has an abundance and lots of minerals, then the vitamins can't be processed. So the minerals act as a catalyst, the same way the spark plug in a car engine. If the spark plug's slightly faulty or the spark plug's missing, you can't start the ignition. And that's exactly the same with everything else in the body. If the minerals are missing, then you might have £1 million meal, every meal, full of all the best vitamins on the planet. But if the minerals aren't there, then it doesn't matter, they won't work.
Yeah.
And I know you've had an experience with one particular mineral back in 2017, just before Britain's Strongest Man. You were told, well, I'll let you tell the story, just before, what happened with potassium for you?
Oh, the potassium story. It's just before Europe's Strongest Man,
Europe.
2017, and geez, it was about 10 days out, and I was having blood tests quite regularly, and it was actually a blood doctor that said your potassium levels were low. So, me being the sort of guy that I am, I went at it like a pig at potato, and just piled the potassium in, coconut waters, potassium tablets. And I had a very bad spell, actually. I was just going to bed one night and my heart rate heart rate went just absolutely off the charts. I was just sitting on the couch watching, just came down from bed, sitting on the couch trying to calm down, and my heart rate was 150 beats per minute, sat on the couch. So, I tried to brush it off as long as I could, run, and then end up ringing an ambulance because I went a bit lightheaded. And my heart rate just fluctuated ridiculous. It went from 60 to 150 to 90, back down to 60. Something was right. And the ambulance crew came out, did all the tests, put an ECG on me to see if I was having a heart attack. And I don't know how they came back with the ECG is obviously a very clever machine, and the machine showed that I had high potassium in my system, and basically my heart was in spasm because obviously it's an electrolyte, and like any muscle in the body, if you've not got enough electrolyte or too much electrolyte, it can spasm, it can cause cramps, and at the end of the day, your heart's a muscle. And that's exactly what happened. My heart was going in and out of spasm.
Yeah.
It put me in a very bad, scary place. And it took me about 3 days to recover from that. It really messed me up, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah. So it shows you how important just one particular mineral is. So I think that equates with people the realization that if you just get one thing wrong, or if something's lacking, your performance, well, in this instance, your health suffered massively. But if you're in the gym training every day and you're deficient in just a few minerals here and there, and then the knock-on effect with the vitamins that they catalyze for, then you're going to have some real issues. So that brings me on to talking about, I'm not sure if you're aware, but there's a new luxury health and performance spa being opened up in Stoke soon called Beast Manor. I'm not sure if you're aware of that.
Oh, right.
So we've all seen over the last 6 months, mate, how much weight you've lost, how much body fat you've lost, and your body composition seems to be changing on a daily basis, getting ready for this fight. So with a little snapshot we've had in your house already, we've seen you've got all new toys. You've got a gym, you've got your cryo machine, you've got your pool, you're soon to have your sauna and your steam room put in. So the question I'm going to ask you, do you think Beast Manor will be the healthiest house in Britain very soon?
I would say so. I'm taking this very seriously. As I say, I've got my cryo machines, I've got built-in physio beds, I've got the boxing ring, the gym, the cardio room, the recovery room. I've got the spa going in the garden with a swimming pool, a hot tub, a cold tub, a sauna, a steam room. So I've basically got everything that an athlete should be doing. I've got everything at home to sort of do that. And, even everything around the house is basically based around my recovery. Even the couches are sort of built to massage me in certain ways and hold my body position in certain ways, help me recover. So I am beyond obsessed with the recovery aspect as well as the training aspect of being an athlete.
Yeah, I'm sure. So, but there's one other thing that you're having done to the house quite soon. And again, this will be an area that most people will either overlook or simply not know about, and that's the water supply and all the horrendous fluoride as well as other chemicals coming in. So you just want to explain briefly to everyone what you're actually having done to the house and the water.
Yeah, so the water supply in the UK, as you know, James, is very not the best. It's probably the better when I get too in depth with it, but it's not good quality water that comes out the taps. You shouldn't really be drinking it. And one of the main concerns for me was the amount of fluoride that they put in the water. Not in all areas, but in a lot of areas in the UK, they put fluoride in the water. And I did a bit of research very early on in my sort of strongman career. And I think it was about 2014, thereabouts. I read what fluoride can do to the human body and what drastic negative effects it can have on muscle mass and testosterone. So I cut that out completely. I only drink filtered or bottled water. And for that reason, when the house is, I'm just having the kitchen done up, I'm going to have the best filtration system possible put in to filter out all the crap, take the fluoride out, and give me the best possible drinking water there is. There was a bit of a conspiracy, actually. I don't know if we can talk about conspiracies on here, but in 2014, what made me sort of make that switch from never drinking tap water again was there was a bit of a theory going around that the government, and this is just chit chat between me and friends, so don't take this seriously. But there was a bit of a theory that the government were putting fluoride in the water to lower testosterone levels throughout the nation, to lower crime, which sounds ridiculous, but so many theories out there these days. And obviously the other more logical theory is that they put it in the water to help bring down the NHS cost of dentistry for our young people, which has also been proven to be true. So
Sure.
yeah.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that because fluoride's been added to the water for the best part of about 70 years or so, and it's in around 30 other countries worldwide. So what's actually wrong with fluoride? Well, it's funny that you mentioned 2014, because that was actually when it got reclassified as a neurotoxin. So that doesn't really sound particularly that attractive, really. You don't want to be drinking, brushing your teeth and washing in a neurotoxin. So as well as being a nerve toxin, what other lovely qualities does fluoride have? Well, it actually, for everyone watching, if anyone's got any weight issues, they've changed their diet, their training, and they just can't seem to shift that extra weight, well, fluoride is actually, it increases the concentration of thyroid stimulating hormones, so TSH, okay? It also decreases, there's another two hormones, T3 and T4. It decreases them, which are a typical feature of hypothyroidism or having an underactive thyroid. So it interferes with regards to T4 and T3, it interferes with T4 converting to T3. And an interesting point here to note is that the numbers 3 and 4 in T3 and T4 actually equate to iodine, atoms of iodine, okay? Fluoride is actually an electronegative element, and what it does, it pushes iodine out of the thyroid and replaces it. So which is a bit of an issue, because without the iodine, the thyroid can't work. So why is the thyroid so important? Well, it regulates nearly every metabolic function within the body. If it isn't working correctly, you can have a whole host of issues such as increased weights, reduced metabolic rate, fatigue, feeling depressed. There's a whole host of negatives associated with it. So I haven't drank tap water for probably about 10 years now. I've got a filtration system at home, and I've used that, and I feel, and again, it might be the placebo effect, but I feel that I feel better for it. And have you noticed now on toothpastes, they've moved, fluoride used to be the main ingredient, they flash around on the front. Now they've sneakily put it around the back so you can't really see it. So, and all the studies with fluoride was when it was applied directly to the teeth. So not drinking it and showering in it. So it's, I think over the next couple of years, as with everything that the government recommends, like don't eat fats because they'll kill you, and they're trying to get rid of that one now. I think fluoride will be pretty much the same, I would have thought. So it's good that you're thinking one step ahead and getting the whole house done, because it's not so much the drinking, because everyone's washing in it as well. So you need to try and negate that as best you can.
Yeah, I mean that's a big problem. I've got swimming pools. I take showers and baths every day regularly, and I'm afraid to get filtration systems on super flow systems like that are super expensive and impossible really to sort of get around that. I do a lot of swimming, and the swimming's full of fluoride, it's full of chloride, there's loads of stuff with chemicals, and then of course your skin's absorbing it. There's some things you can't help but expose your body to, but you do your best. If you cannot ingest it, of course that's probably the worst damage you could do, so at least I can stop that out.
Yeah, so completely. So that's vitamins and minerals. I thought I'd mention just briefly now about a supplement that I'm sure the vast majority of people watching would have taken at some time or other, which would be creatine. Now, creatine's probably been the most popular supplement for 20-30 years for improving ATP, energy production, and hopefully increasing your muscle size and strength. But one area that probably most people don't realize about creatine is that it actually keeps your genes healthy through a process called methylation. And I know when he spoke to Chris last about gene doping and gene editing, and they were talking about methylation, it's basically a function that keeps it regulating and doing what they're meant to be doing. So methylation is extremely important because it's a process where the body shares little things, little molecules called methyl groups. And what methyl groups basically do simplistically is they stabilize your DNA and they detoxify your body. So they're fairly important. So I thought today, because all the research we've done, I thought I'd announce a bit of a world's first, that creatine, we found from our epigenetic results, which you've been part of now for the best part of 2 years, of the 2,000 people that we're actually studying, those that are taking a creatine supplement have had a lower biological age compared to their chronological age. And simplistically, that means those taking creatine are aging at a reduced or slower rate.
Right.
And which I can probably, with regards to your biological age, I was shocked when I first saw it, because I thought, oh, he's going to be about 85 years old because he's been killing himself for the last 10 years. But yours is exactly the same, I think, within a couple of months. And all the hard training, the food, and all the stress you've put yourself under, in one instance, you've negated it probably beautifully with your recovery, your hot colds, and everything else that you've done. Plus, I know creatine's not going to be probably one of the major things, but it's probably helped along the way. So for everyone watching, creatine's got fantastic anti-inflammatory properties, but now from a holistic and a genetic and epigenetic standpoint, maybe just supplementing with maybe just 5 grams every other day, it doesn't have to be every day, does show that it's helping reduce and slowing the aging process. So I thought I'd put that out there, because I think we would have announced it 6 months ago, but there was a little virus that got in the way, so we didn't think we'd probably best to tell everyone about it. So I thought let everyone know now. So the last point that I'd like to come on to, we've been creating a new product for people. It's called DNA Light. And what basically DNA Light does, it gives you a snapshot of 45 DNA reports surrounding your vitamin deficiencies. So like we just mentioned, vitamin B6. It also gives you diet reports, your proteins, carbs and fats. And it also looks into which supplements would be beneficial for you to take, like creatine. So we've just launched that as of today. It's $59.99. If they want any more details, and probably just to head over to your website, Ed, and to click over.
Yeah, link in bio, guys. So it'll be on the website and it'll be the Mudo link, so you can't miss it.
Lovely. Okay. Well, I think hopefully I've explained vitamins and minerals slightly more. I mean, if anyone's got any comments, if they'd like a video for me to explain anything else in a little bit more detail, then I'm happy to do so.
Okay. Well, brilliant. Well, thank you very much, James. Appreciate your time. And as always, I'm always learning. Every time I have a conversation with you, I always go away with some new knowledge. Right then. Well, thank you, James. And thank you to everyone that's watching. Please hit the link in that bio to get your Mudo DNA kit. And again, I say this every time I come on with you guys, but you invest in supplements, you invest in holidays, you invest in cars, homes, whatever. Why not invest just a little bit in your health? And this knowledge can take you on for the rest of your life. It's not just something that'll fix you up for a couple of weeks. This is something that will benefit you for the rest of your lives. So don't hesitate. Sort it out. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like the video. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Big love the beast. Take care, guys.